Okay, we're doing round 2 of me answering your video questions because I enjoyed it so much. I don't care if other people don't like it. Some of you do, and so do I. What an aggressive way to start this video. Ready?
Hi, Alexandra. My name is Matthew, and my question's on basically when do you know when to powder the whole face versus just like the T-zone? I know a lot of people I see just do the T-zone to keep it more like a dewy finish, but then I get confused because I feel like if you don't set the whole face, that the rest of the makeup, like if you have a client or something, leaves, might fall off. I could be wrong, and it could just be the newbie in me, but I would really like clarification on that. So thank you for doing these videos, and I love you, and I love everything that you bring to the makeup community, so thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. You're so cute. Okay, so when it comes to setting powder or just any kind of like setting product, whether it's setting powder or setting mist, it's really going to depend on like the skin type, I think. For me personally, I will only use a setting powder in the areas that like I feel need it. So the reason that most people will do like just the T-zone and leave the rest of the face is because like, for instance, actually today when I did my makeup, the finish of my foundation looked perfect, like absolutely beautiful. I loved the way it looked. I only needed a little bit of oil control and setting in my T-zone. I tend to get like creasing and product will move around like underneath my eyes in areas where the face moves a lot. So between, you know, your like the T-zone, your forehead, your smile line. So setting that area can kind of like help to keep product in place. If someone is touching, like it depends on, if you're doing clients, it depends on like, now Matthew, I don't know if you know this, but I don't do makeup on other people. But if it's like for a photo shoot, then do whatever the fuck you want. If you don't think the face needs powder, don't use the powder. Use it exactly where you want. If it's a wedding, then you're probably gonna wanna use a little bit of powder, but still, I just think that like if someone has dry skin and the outer perimeter of their face is like fine, then you don't need the powder. A lot of professional makeup artists will go in and set the whole face with a powder and then go in with a setting mist to kind of like bring life back to the face, to bring a little bit more like moisture, and it's also kind of like a second set, if you will. If you're interested in that kind of thing, like Makeup by Ariel is a really good option for that. If you're looking for something that's gonna be like a little bit more like realistic, not realistic, but like not glam. Like they are putting makeup on to make the face look glam for photo shoots. You know what I mean? Like red carpet shit. If you're looking for like high fashion or just fashion in general, less is more. Lisa Eldridge. I don't know. I don't know everything, but that's how I would describe it. I hope that helped.
Hey Alex, so my question has to do with foundation. What would you recommend for foundation as far as preventing not just cakiness, but also just kind of like preventing it from aging your face? Like it kind of ages my face when I put foundation on. So I have oily skin, I have kind of bigger pores on my cheeks, and then I find that like my smile lines, like on my right here, get really accentuated when I wear foundation. And I try not to put a lot on, but I want it to look good with the eyeshadow and everything, especially in real life. Like I just want it to look really flattering and juicy and, you know, just great. So any tips that you may have, I really appreciate it.
So my question for you would be, what foundations are you using? You said you try not to use too much. You said that you have oily skin. You don't want to be using something that's going to be like too heavy, obviously. Maybe you're using something that's like too matte if you're using a matte foundation. And are you priming before? Like, are you moisturizing your skin? You want to make sure that even though you are oily, finding a nice moisturizer that's going to like help to hydrate and plump up the skin, but isn't going to like make you super oily. I actually just got one recently that I really like, which is from, I don't even know if this is your problem, but I'm going to recommend it because I really like it. Oh shit, I just forgot what it was called. Skinceuticals? The oil-free one. It's like a little one of these with a cap. It's blue and it's the oil-free moisturizer. And I love it. It doesn't pill with stuff. It's really, really nice. It's actually the only like gel kind of formula that doesn't pill with my sunscreen. But anyway, I would recommend like making sure that you're priming your face. It doesn't have to be with a primer, but definitely a moisturizer. Making sure that like you like the way that your skin, like what does your skin look like before you put foundation on it? Basically would be my question. Obviously, don't use too much. I'm trying to think, like, are you using something that's too matte and so it ends up being too thick in those areas? Or is it because you're too oily and too much oil is gathering in those areas? In that case, you might need a mattifying primer. Pay attention to how your skin looks before you even put the foundation on. Really hope that that makes sense. I need like a questionnaire to give you guys that's like, what's your skin type? What are you using right now? Like I need all the info.
Hi, Alex. Sorry about, I'm a mess. Anyways, my question
Okay,
is...
hold on. All of you guys who are like, sorry, I blah, 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 you all look perfect. Like, what are you doing right now? Stop it. Stop apologizing. You're pissing me off. She's so cute.
Hi, Alex.
Her eyebrows look
Sorry
perfect.
about, I'm a mess. Anyways, my question is, how do you get your individual brow hair strokes with that Nyx Pen, which I do have and is my favorite as well? How do you get them so perfectly spaced out? Like, my hand's pretty steady and I can't even do it. So like, how are you doing it? Your brow hairs are impeccable. I'm just curious if you have any tricks or tips. I'm also using Dr. Bronner's bar soap. Again, also using the NYX brow pen, which I love. Yeah, I'm just wondering about your brow hair strokes and how you get them so perfectly symmetrical, so perfectly spaced out. Your brows, man, they're amazing. Okay, I love you, Alex. You are my literal favorite.
Okay, I love her. Okay. First of all, your eyebrows look fucking amazing, which is like rude. How do I, it's not, here's the advantage that I have. My eyebrow hairs themselves are incredibly fine. Like my hair is very fine. So it's not too thick. Like when I go in and I kind of like brush them out and lay them to my skin, it already looks like lines, you know? So I just go in and I can fill in the sparse areas and it's just very easy. I don't think that it looked like, and I mean, I can't really tell from the video, but it looked like your eyebrow hairs were just like thicker than mine. So they're probably a lot more full, which makes it a lot harder to go in and draw individual hairs. You can do it, obviously, but if your natural hairs are already like pretty thick, you're not necessarily going to be seeing like individual strokes. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's your problem or not, but I'm pretty sure that's the only reason that my eyebrows, like people always ask me if my eyebrows are microbladed, and it's just because my eyebrows are actually like so thin that like I can put in those strokes. You know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. But your eyebrows look fucking bomb, so like jealous.
I'm Claudia from Malaysia, and my question to you is super basic. It's not really cool, but do you have any pastel palette recommendations? Yeah, because I was just watching your blue look that you posted the other day, and I've literally been on a roller coaster of Google searches, scavenging for a pastel palette. I know it's quite hard to find one specific palette that comprises everything from a good color story, blendability, formulation, pigmentation, and all along priced, affordable. Based on your experience, what are your tips in making that choice? And if you have like a specific recommendation.
Pastel palettes, it is tough. You're right. I feel like there was unfortunately the industry goes through these like waves where certain colors are in. Kat Von D had one that I can literally just like picture in my head. And I don't know if they still have it. Like I don't know what the transition has been like to KVD Beauty. I don't know if they like still have all of the palettes. That one was really beautiful. The one that where did I put it? Oh, it's down here. It's a B. Honestly, all the BH Cosmetics palettes are fantastic, and I feel like they have so many colors. Ugh. The Los Angeles palette. I don't know if these are, yeah, these are pretty pastel, you know? Kind of. Is this white? Yeah, see, that's the nice thing about this palette is that it has a matte white. So if you feel like these colors aren't, because they're not necessarily, but if you feel like they're not pastel enough, you can mix a little bit. I mean, that's pretty pastel, I think. But you can mix it with the white. Now, obviously, like with my finger, it's going to be different. But if you pick it up with like a can you focus? If you pick it up with like a brush, see how much lighter? You know? So if you have a palette that has like a bunch of colors, but you also have a white in it, a matte white in it, then you can kind of like mix your own. That's one of my favorite things about having, that's one of the reasons that like eyeshadow palettes will have a white or a black, so that you can kind of like mix your own shades. That's not necessary. Ooh, this is a really good one too. The Hank and Henry tie-dye Bianca Linares palette. Once again, a bunch of colors, but it has a matte white. So you can tone all of that down. You can go into that yellow, into the white, and then you have a pretty pastel yellow. You know? So mixing is your friend, trust me.
Hey Alex, JB here. I promise I won't tell you how awesome I think you are. But can you explain a little more about color correcting? Like when do you use green and when and why would you use orange? I have like pinkish purpley kind of in my under eye there, and I feel like maybe I need a little color correcting there. So what color would I use? Thanks.
Okay, so for color correcting, it's basically like if you look at the color wheel. Just Google a quick color wheel. The opposite colors on the color wheel, for instance, red and green are opposites, are going to cancel each other out. They're called complementary colors. So the way that it works is that like if you put a red next to a green, they make each other pop because they're next to each other. If you mix them, they cancel each other out. Like they tone each other down, if that makes sense. So the reason that you would use a green color corrector is if you're someone who has rosacea on your cheeks and you have like a lot of redness, and when you go in with your foundation, it doesn't cover up the redness. You can still see it through the foundation. So you might go in with a little bit of like the Makeup Forever primer, the redness corrector. This is the green one. I mix this with my foundation. And it just kind of like tones down the color a little bit. It'll kind of like tone down the red, and then you can go in with your foundation and hopefully not see as much through it. So one of the reasons that people use like a orange or a coral color corrector underneath their eyes is because, number one, I think probably orange and coral, like because they're very warm toned, would probably be good. You don't want to go for something that's going to be like a light pink, like the Becca under eye corrector. I feel like those lean a little bit more pink. So you would want something that's going to be a little bit more peachy. You look quite fair, so you would want to use something that is much lighter orange, or a tiny, tiny amount. Like you really don't need that much. And one of the reasons that people do that underneath their eyes is because when you go in with your concealer and you have that like dark pigment underneath, which like you don't really, like you don't have dark circles, but if you go in with your concealer, which is typically a little bit lighter than your foundation, this like kind of gray cast shows through because obviously like the makeup isn't completely opaque. And if you have that darkness, like you can probably see it a little bit with me because I haven't really been color correcting that much, but like you kind of see this like gray tinge down here. So that's why people use a color corrector. So I would definitely recommend something that's a little bit more on the orangey side. I love the LA Girl ones. They have ones that are, you know, probably that I use. I think it's Light Ivory was the one that I was using. And since you're so fair, I feel like that would look good because it's kind of an orangey color. So that'll give you a little bit of brightening and it'll cover up that area. You might not even need concealer if you go in with that, but they also have like legit color correctors like Coral and Peach, and they're a little bit like darker though, I think. So I might suggest that you go for the one that I use. But yeah, that's why you use color correctors. I hope that helped.
Questions.
first question. I have really strong cheekbones and jawline, and when I put bronzer or contour here, I really accentuate the hollows of my cheek, and I don't want to do that, but I want to be able to use those products. So do you have some kind of a trick for that? Also, second question, when I smile, I have this creasing over here, and with the powder highlight it looks terrible after a while, so I was wondering if maybe cream highlight and blush would be better for me and for my dry skin. And last question, I have weird eyes. This one is going down, this one is alright. And when I put the eyeshadow here, I look like a raccoon. Do you have some kind of a tip for that as well? Thank you. Hi.
Okay, let me try to remember all of these. Wait, fuck, I already forgot. Oh, no. What was the first one?
Hi. Okay, so 3 questions.
Oh, the bronzer. Okay. So yes, beautiful bone structure. Way to brag. So if you don't want to accentuate like chiseling, what I would do for, I don't know how big the brush is that you're using to bronze, but you want to use something that's going to be bigger, that's going to be fluffy. So all you want to do is add warmth, right? So like I've talked about this before where I was using a bronzer brush that was like this big because I like that precision. I'm trying to sculpt certain areas of my face. I don't want the warmth to just go everywhere. But let me see if I can grab a brush example for you. This is aggressive. See, we're opposites. I'm not trying to use a large brush, so I don't really have one as an example to show you, but something big is what you want. You want something that's just going to apply the product. So you just dip into the bronzer, and what you want to do is just kind of like go like this, just around the edges of your face, just real quick, really light, just focus on the perimeter of your face because you don't want to do any sculpting, right? So you just want to add a little bit of warmth. You also just want to make sure that you're not applying too much because if you're applying, like if you're going in with quite a bit of bronzer, it's gonna end up sculpting certain areas, you know what I mean? But that's what I would recommend for you. This is a ColourPop brush, F18. This might be too big. I can't tell like how big you are in general, like your face. So this might be like way too big for you. But the one that I use, that NARS one, I can link it down below, would probably be good. But you just wanna like load it up, tap it off, and just kind of like really quick, just that's it. Don't do any, like it doesn't matter basically. Like you can be as haphazard as you want because you're not trying to sculpt.
Okay, my question. I suffer from rosacea and I have really dry, sensitive skin, and I only use like tinted moisturizers on my skin just because I can't usually wear anything heavier. And even with tinted moisturizers, with the beauty sponge, I get buildup around my nose, and I really applied that much. So I was just wondering if you had any tips or tricks for that. Thanks.
Yeah, that's tough. Does the skin around your nose tend to be like the driest? Because I've had that experience. I actually get that quite a bit for some reason. Like, it's weird, it comes and goes. I had that problem for a little while and I was trying to fix it with primers and that just wasn't working. I think the best thing to do is to make sure that that area is nice and hydrated. Kind of treat it like, you know how everybody's like, hydrate your under eyes before you apply concealer, like way before you do your makeup, just like hydrate the fuck out of your under eyes. Do that with your nose, like around your nose, because I think that it's because it's so dry. Just give that a shot and see if it does something. I really hope that it does, because I don't know for sure. I've had this problem and it just kind of corrected itself. I don't know. That wasn't helpful, huh?
Don't know why I'm doing this. I just really need help. So I just need a little help with color correcting. Where should I be color correcting my under eyes and my mouth around my mouth area? Just like you, I have slight genetics, which is why because of genetics, my area is very dark, and I just want to know what concealer, whatever product you recommend the best, which is the best, and yeah, if should I be color correcting or not, and how, and also like how should I be contouring my face? I just want to know more about contouring for a face shape like mine, which is kind of like rounder. Just thanks so much.
Okay, so similar advice and same products that I would recommend to the other person who asked about color correcting. So if you are applying I see what you're saying. Around your mouth, you have a little bit of darkness, and I'm assuming that when you apply your foundation, you're getting kind of that like cast that comes through. So you want to use something that's going to basically, okay. The thing that gets complicated with color correcting is you just see like a darker area of your skin, and it's not necessarily a color, you know? And you're like, why would I use an orange? That makes no sense. That's so weird. Like, why would I do that? The reason that you do that is because, like I said, with my dark circles, when you have a darker color underneath your foundation and it shows through gray, it's just because you're putting a very light color on top of something that's too dark for that foundation. So you're creating this like ashy effect. So the reason that you would use something like an orange color corrector or even a red, the LA Girl color correctors, I think they have like a multitude of like warm color correctors. I'll link them down below. I'll try to find something that I think would work for your skin tone. Because you're gonna wanna use something that's gonna be a little bit more true orange, orangey red almost. Having said that, you don't need a ton. Like, you do not need to use a lot. It's just that you need to use the correct tone of it. You wanna make sure that it's not too light. So applying that is going to warm up that area. It adds warmth there so that when you go in with your foundation, you don't get that ashy effect. So yes, I think you could benefit from that. That'll work around your mouth. It'll work underneath your eyes, and that's pretty much the only place that you need it. I'll link those down below. And then as far as contouring your face, I would embrace, because you have these really cute like round cheeks right here, which I like absolutely do not have. Like, my face gets like super flat right there. You know, it just disappears. Right in here, just disappears. But you have these really cute cheeks. So what I would do is, if you want to contour, rather than doing what I do, because what I do is I focus my contour like way down here. Let me just look at you. Let me look at you. You want to start like up here and sweep it up. And you don't have to take it in this far, but you just kind of want to do this shape to accentuate those cheeks. Because this part, bringing this, like putting the contour like right in here, is going to cinch this in, and it's just gonna cup this area of your cheek really nicely. And then that's like, I think that's all you really need. Just make sure that you're not taking it up like way too high, because a lot of the time when you take a contour up too high, it makes the lower half of your face look really big. So you just wanna make sure, like, look in the mirror, kind of see like where your cheek is and follow it up to your ear. Hope that makes sense.
Hi Alex, I absolutely love your videos, and my question is, if you can see, like, my eyes are different, like this one folds completely and this one doesn't.
Oh my god, I just realized I forgot to answer the other question of Petra, and she said her eyes were weird. Wait, let me just listen to his, it might be the same advice.
If you can see, like, my eyes are different, like this one folds completely and this one doesn't, and I'm just curious if there is like any way around it, because every time I do my eyeshadow, it ends up looking different, and it's so annoying. Like, even liner, like just liner or eyeshadow, help. Hi Alex,
I have to go back to Petra because I don't remember what her exact, wait, do I remember her exact question? So here's the sad truth. We have to just kind of like accept the annoying things. There's only so much that you can do. Now, potentially, something that you could do is, like, for instance, if you're trying to define, if you want to put in like a crease color, you can put it wherever you want. On your eye that's like completely folded, you can put it wherever you want, okay? Do that wherever. On the other eye, you just want to make sure that it's lining up in the same area. So maybe use the eye that doesn't fold completely, use that as a guide and go just above that line, and then line it up on the other eye. Could potentially use a slightly darker color to cheat it, but that seems like so much work. I think the most important thing to do is try to get it as close as you possibly can. And you just have to accept the uneven things. We all have very uneven faces. You would not believe the amount of people who tell me that I have a symmetrical face. My entire life, I have hated how asymmetrical my face is. So what I would say is that the majority of people do not notice the thing that you are worried about at all. Like those little things that you're like, oh, this thing isn't even, or this stands out, or this makes my eyeshadow look so weird, or whatever. Nobody notices it. Trust me. I mean, I kind of gave you like a thing to try, but I don't know if it's really worth it, you know? I don't even know if it would really work. Oh, and then Petra, sorry, I forgot. For your eyes, kind of the same thing, but I get what you meant is that you said that one of the corners like comes down more than the other one. So what I always do, I do this with my brows. I actually kind of do this with my eyes too, because I have uneven eyes as well. This lid is a little bit heavy and I have a little bit more room here. So I kind of just try to like even it out as much as possible without it looking like weird. I feel like, because my crease always comes up a lot higher on this one because I have more room between the end of my lashes and my eyebrow. And I kind of just use my like brows. I try to even out my brows and then I try to even out my eyes and I do all these things and it is a lot of work. What I would do, Petra, is the eye that you prefer, like the one that your eyeshadow always looks perfect, that you love. Do it however you want on that eye and then just try to match it up with the other eye. You may have to like cheat some things. For instance, if your eye comes down a little bit further, you might just need to like place the eyeshadow up a little higher on it. It's a trial and error. You gotta just like test it out and see if it works because it could be a disaster. So it really does, like, I can give you advice, but you gotta just like try it out. And you were saying that you look like a raccoon if you smoke it down here. Don't smoke it. Just keep it really, really tight. I've always wanted to be that person who can just like wear it with no lower lash, you know? Just do everything up here and wear no lower lash line color. But what you can do is like invest in some like tiny, you don't even need to invest. I have this eyebrow pencil this flat liner pencil. What the fuck is it? I think it's a flat liner pencil. It's from e.l.f., but it's literally just flat. That's perfect. Just get some precise brushes, and honestly, e.l.f. has really good ones, so that you can keep your eyeshadows really tight to the lash line, so that you don't end up looking like a raccoon. Like if you don't want to look like this.
Okay, so look, Alex, I love your show. Disregard the cream. Okay, just disregard it, because I'm doing this after I get off of work at work late. But forget about that. So I love your YouTube channel. You have taught me so much. But the one thing I have an issue with when I do my eyeshadow, it's not the blending. I'm going to close my eyes and you'll see the difference. This side is much more smoother, like perfect eye shape. And then this side right here has this high arch crease. I don't know if you can see it, but I can never get my eye makeup to come out evenly on both sides. Want this side perfect. This side is more downward than upward. Can you please tell me how can I fix it, or what can I do to blend it out up to make them look symmetrical? That would be an awesome help. And by the way, I just love your show. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you, Catherine. Same advice, you guys. People are not noticing these things, but I totally get it. Like, I completely understand. See, what's really nice about your eyes, though, is that you don't have any skin that folds over. So, like, you have so much more freedom than you think you do. If you have... Once again, I would pick the eye that you like the best and then sort of base off of that. So go in, apply the crease color where you want it, and just because your eye shape is a little bit different on the other one, like for instance, you said like the crease or the hollow of your eye comes up like higher, you can put it down lower if you want. Like you don't have to do it exactly where it is on the eye. A really good tip to keep in mind if you have uneven eyes is maybe on the eye that you really, really like, bring the crease color up ever so slightly higher. And then that way on this eye, you can bring it down ever so slightly to kind of even them out, you know? If taking it down to like meet up with the eye that you like looks crazy, you know? You kind of have to cheat it. Like you have to do a little bit back and forth. Hopefully that helped. You guys are so nice. I want to make sure that I'm helping you, but I'm worried that I'm not.
Hi. So I wanted to say that I love your videos. You're amazing. I watch them all the time. And thank you for doing this series. I have wanted to ask you a question concerning Lash Boosters. So I find myself typically using the Lancome one, but I was just curious if you use them, and if you do, what are your favorite ones? And if you don't, why not? But that's it. Pretty simple topic. All right, thanks.
I've never used a lash booster, and I think the only reason for that has been they kind of freaked me out a little bit because I read some weird things about Latisse. So it was just never anything that like really, I don't know, appealed to me that much. And I know that a lot of brands have come out with like mascaras that are supposed to like help your lash growth and natural lash enhancers and shit like that. I feel weird recommending this. I'm not necessarily recommending it because it's a supplement. So, you know, whatever. I'm not recommending it necessarily. Talk to your doctor. But I do take a collagen supplement. And I did notice that when I started doing that, my hair was like growing like fucking crazy. So my eyebrows became a little fluffier. I feel like my lashes got a little longer. So that's what I do. And I've been pretty happy with the way that my lashes look. Like they're just fine, you know, like they're not like super impressive or anything, but if I wear mascara, I like them. So no, I haven't really like delved into the lash stuff. I'd be interested. You said that you're using the Lancome one. I'm trying to, wait, Lancome? I'm trying to remember if I've ever even come across that before. But yeah, there are a lot of brands that have them, and I don't know, they kind of freak me out. I don't know why. I guess I just don't know enough about them. My armpits are sweaty.
Hi Alex, a huge fan of yours. I just have two quick questions. First of all is the question about the undertone. I feel like I might be the olive undertone, but I'm never sure. I have to always mix up a couple of foundations to get the right color. And the second question is, if you're applying sunscreen and primer, which one do you put first? Sunscreen and then primer on top, or the other way around? Thank you. Hi Alex, a huge fan of yours.
Your skin does look pretty similar to mine, honestly, so you might be an olive undertone. It is really, it's tough to tell from a photo or from a video, you know, because like I don't know exactly the lighting, but potentially. Yeah, undertones are fucking difficult, man. The only advice that I have for undertones, and this is the only advice that I will ever have, I think, because it's so difficult, is to go to the makeup store, swatch potential shades on your wrist, go outside, let them oxidize, see them in the natural sunlight and how they dry down onto your skin. You could also put it on your neck, put it on an area that matches like the majority of you. Like my wrist, like I'm white everywhere, you know what I mean? So like I can do, that's fine. That's the best way to find your perfect shade. And then if you find like shades that are matching that and they're saying that they're warm, well then you're figuring out, okay, I have a warmer skin tone. And then you can hopefully kind of like, you know, process of elimination, wow. Eliminate the ones that like you aren't. Like, okay, I'm not neutral, okay, I'm not cool toned. And then if there are like foundations that are labeled as olive, maybe you can like get to the point where you're like, oh, maybe I'm olive. Also comparing your skin to your friends. So if you have a friend who has like pinker skin, it just makes it a lot easier to see the green in your skin, you know? So just like line up all your friends and take a look at your arm and be like, okay, who's neutral? Who's cool toned? Who's more warm? Because I look straight up like green next to my friends. So it makes it very obvious.
Hi Alex, this is Laura from Spain. And I would like to ask you if, according to my face shape, with I would say it's more like a square, do you think that this is the right placement for blush, highlighter, and so on? I mean, this is the way that I normally do it, but I don't know if you think maybe I can change something that can improve or make it look better for my shape. Maybe it's perfect, who knows? By the way, I love your channel and I love the F word. Hi Alex, this is Laura from Spain.
Laura, I think that your makeup looks perfect. Absolutely. I think that the way that you're contouring looks fantastic. And I love the blush placement. I think it's really similar to like how I like mine. I've been bringing mine onto my cheeks a little bit more, but you and I have a similar area of like in our face here where it's a little bit flatter here and we have more volume up here. So it's going to be more flattering to put all of the attention up here. And that's what you're doing. And I think it looks beautiful. Your skin looks beautiful. Your eyes look beautiful. Fucking nailed it. All right, guys, round 2. Thank you so much for all of your videos. Honestly, just keep them coming. If you follow me on Instagram, that's where I've been watching them. I've just been like I've been having people DM me and then I just play them from my phone. The only thing that I will say, and I said this in my Instagram story, but if you didn't hear it, if you send me a video, don't record it with Instagram, record it separately on your phone and then send it to me. Or use the crop option to crop out your name if you record it on Instagram. Just because I don't want to be putting like people's full names on my YouTube videos, you know? But yeah, this is super fun and it's gonna be a series and we're just gonna keep on doing them. And whenever I feel like it, I'm just gonna hop on and let you guys know that I'm doing it and I'll answer your questions because I think it's really, really helpful. And I like seeing you guys. Now I'm watching you. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Hope it helped. And you guys are fucking cute. Stop apologizing. Stop apologizing. Every single one of you who was like, oh, I look like a mess. You looked fucking great. All right, I gotta go.